Man, I'm sick. Oh, I'm so sick. Oh my God. That has to be the most heartbreaking regular season loss of all time for the Miami Heat. It really, really does. I don't think that's hyperbole to say. And it does sound kind of weird to say considering it wasn't like no game-winning buzzer beater against you or nothing like that. But what transpired tonight in Detroit versus the Pistons was one of the most sickening things I've ever seen in my entire life. Oh man, just the range of emotions that I just went through as a fan for the game to end like that was unreal. I mean, I was literally at an all-time high, the highest I felt watching a Heat game in a very, very long time. And for in a snap second, for it to go to the absolute worst despair I felt as a Heat fan in a long time, is crushing. And now I got to sit here in front of a camera and talk about it. I had my reaction video to the Herro game winner in overtime that put them up with a second left. I had the Herro bobblehead here ready to just go crazy because my God was I amped up. Let's not let this heartbreaking flub by Erik Spoelstra, pitiful performance by Terry Rozier and several other guys on the roster. Let's not let that distract from the fact that Tyler Herro was amazing. He had probably his best game in a Heat uniform, at least regular season wise. Had one of the most insane fourth quarters that I've ever experienced in my life. And this is not a moral victory. This is not me saying anything, but obviously you played the damn Pistons. It's a damn shame in the middle of a brutal road trip in which you played the Nuggets, got your ass kicked, had a miracle win versus the Timberwolves. Now you had Detroit, and then you got 2 games at Indiana. Just a brutal road trip, and to drop the game to the Pistons after beating Minnesota in Minnesota last game is just heartbreaking. So obviously no moral victories, but Tyler Herro needs to get his flowers because I can't let this hard loss neglect from the fact that Herro has been your best player all season, and he continued that today. But if y'all didn't see the game, I don't even know where to begin. I mean, I got all kind of notes. We might skip around through a few of these later, but the Heat were essentially down a bunch in the fourth quarter. Well, they were down 18 early on, came back to take the lead. It was a relatively close game. Pistons would go on a big run, would go up double digits in the fourth, and then Tyler Herro went absolutely nuclear, hit 6 threes in the fourth quarter, and then the Heat were still down 9 with about a minute and a half to go. And then Tyler Herro hit back-to-back triples to tie the game. Had a chance at a game winner, too. He got absolutely hammered across the arms by Jaden Ivey. No call. But the game would go to overtime. It'd be a tie game with just a few seconds left there. Herro would hit the go-ahead off the glass, put the Heat up 2 with 2 seconds to go. And then the Detroit Pistons would run an inbounds play for Jalen Duran, who would score in like 0.4 seconds to tie the game again. Just pitiful defense by the Miami Heat in that spot. You had Bam Adebayo playing above the screen on Jalen Duran when Jalen Duran is not a three-point shooter. He's not going to shoot the three. You need to play back, play in the paint, and Bam just left the paint entirely wide open. You had Terry Rozier in there once again to close another defensive possession. Why? I don't know. It hasn't worked all year. Spoelstra continues to do it. It's beyond me. But anyways, the Pistons would tie the game with about 1.1 seconds to go, and then Spoelstra would run onto the court because, of course, he's pissed. He calls timeout. But wait a minute. The Heat have no timeouts. That's a technical free throw for the Pistons. He pulled a Chris Webber. Funny enough, the camera cuts to Jalen Rose. Jalen Rose was there, who, of course, was on the Michigan team when Chris Webber notoriously did that in college. But here's the thing, though. Malik Beasley hit the free throw with 1.1 seconds left to take the lead. And I'm thinking, okay, you got no timeouts, but you got 1.1 seconds to try to force a heave. Maybe get lucky. It'd be a storybook ending for Tyler Herro if he could get it to go. But then they say Pistons basketball. Every single player on the court's confused. Eric Reed, John Crotty, they're confused. I'm confused. I knew you get a technical free throw for calling a timeout when you have none, but I had no idea that's also a change of possession. Even Eric Reed said, how did the Pistons get the ball back? He was confused. I guess that's the rule. I haven't seen nothing on Twitter thus far, although I'm recording this just about a minute or two after the final buzzer sounded, so maybe that was a mistake. I doubt it, though. I guess that's just the rule, and then that would give the Pistons the ball back up 1 with 1.1 seconds left. And by the time the Heat fouled, it was only 0.1 seconds on the clock. So even though Malik Beasley split both free throws, the Heat, of course, can't get a shot off in 0.1 seconds. Brutal game. Brutal game. And I feel for Erik Spoelstra. I really do, because he is one of the greatest coaches of all time, one of the best in the NBA, although he's not having a great season at all. You could argue the zone that they've been mixing in interpretably, whatever the word is, for the last few games has worked. It was great against Minnesota. It had its effects today. Spoelstra, of course, had the great inbounds play versus Minnesota last game, but outside of that, there's a lot of things that aren't working too well with regards to lineups, and you saw way too much of Thomas Bryant this year before we finally got some Khalil Ware, who has looked really decent in his small stints. Good, but small stints. But anyways, I still feel bad for Spo, just because he's going to feel this one. Knowing a guy like him, a guy with his competitive spirit, this one's going to keep him up at night for some time. It really will. I'll be interested to hear what he says in his postgame. I'm sure he'll take all the blame. But the reason he'll feel even worse is because he knows he robbed an all-time Tyler Herro performance from him. And that's the part that sucks, right? It's not just like, oh, the Heat were in a back and forth game all night and they lose because Spo calls timeout. It's the fact that you had an all-time comeback fall short because of a flub like that. That's the part that truly, truly sucks. We can kind of get into some of these players here, because there was a lot of bad in this game, even if the Heat would have came away with the win. There was a lot of bad. Bam Adebayo continues to just be pitiful this season. I know he finished today, I believe, with 20 points. I'll get his exact stats here. 20 points and 12 rebounds, 3 assists. So on paper, he was fine, 8 of 13, but he was way, way, way too scared out there. He did hit a 3-pointer today, but if you actually watch the game, he was playing terrified out there. There was so many times where Jalen Duran is playing drop coverage on him, and he's just scared to look at the basket. There was plenty of other times where Bam was catching the ball in the paint wide open and pump faking. I remember one specifically in the fourth quarter that Tyler had a nice drive and dish to Bam right in that dotted line that he loves, that little push shot, and Bam pump fakes. There was another play late in the fourth quarter where it was a huge possession with a few minutes left. They drive, kick out to a wide open Bam Adebayo at the 3-point line with 3 seconds on the shot clock, and Bam passes it to Duncan, who then has to hot potato it to Tyler, who shoots a fadeaway in which he almost airballs. Not his fault, because he sort of caught a grenade. But because Bam was scared to shoot that open 3, the Heat ended up basically not getting a shot off, which is just ridiculous. Let's not even go back. And that's not even to mention the poor free throw shooting once again. Bam today was 3 for 5, and both of those misses was in the fourth quarter and overtime. Absolutely ridiculous. He hits one of those. It's a tie game at the end. He hits 2 of those. The Heat could possibly come away with the win. The free throw shooting from Bam Adebayo just continues to be abysmal. And when you compound that with the fact that the Pistons as a team had like 15 first-half free throw attempts, made them all. They finished 24 of 28 on the day. It's just hard to win games when there's that big free throw disparity. Now, the Heat as a team shot fine, 10 of 13 overall. But obviously, 2 of those 3 misses were from Bam, and they were late. And it's ridiculous. It really is unfortunate. Terry Rozier continues to be one of the most frustrating watches that I've ever seen in my entire life. Today, the shot selection was abysmal. There was a few times early in the game where he could have had wide open catch and shoot threes. Instead, pump fakes it and does a step back over the defender from beyond the arc. Of course, was bricking all over the place. He finished 3 of 14 from 3 today. There was a possession in the fourth quarter where the Heat were down 1, actually. Finally about to make a comeback. Terry Rozier hits a 3, stepped out of bounds. There was a very clutch late fourth quarter play where Tyler gives the ball to Bam. Bam can't even catch the ball. All day he can't catch the ball today. Pistons got a few offensive rebounds just because Bam was struggling to hold on to the ball. And then there was this play where Bam couldn't catch the straight lob but from Tyler. Could have dunked it in. Of course, he bobbled it, gave it to Terry. Terry stepped out of bounds once again. Just frustrating performance, specifically from those two. And it was disgusting. Even late, like I said, in the fourth quarter, you had Terry in there on defense instead of Jaime Jaquez, instead of Pelle Larsson. There was points where he was even in there instead of Hayward Highsmith for points, and it was just ridiculous. Ridiculous doesn't even count it, man. I'm hurt. I'm really hurt, man. I mean, this guy is busting his ass this season, and all the dudes that got paid ain't doing nothing. Bam Adebayo got his max contract and has been terrible. Jimmy Butler was begging for his max contract, A week into the season, he's already missing time. And then when he was playing, he was too scared to shoot. It's sad, bro. It's really sad. And for Tyler Herro to get all that crap that he endured all the last season, and I was very critical of Tyler Herro for large portions of last season, but he dealt with that. He worked his ass off, and you're seeing the fruits of his labor this season. And it's a damn shame that ain't no one else is stepping up to the plate. It really, really is. You know, if you would have told me a month ago that Tyler Herro would have these numbers and this efficiency, I'd say, damn, the Heat would probably be running away with first in the East. But instead, it's all your other star players, Terry, Jimmy, Bam, that are playing like crap, and the record is terrible because of it. I appreciate Eric Reed. He's trying something new his last couple games. He's been calling Terry T-Row. I don't like it. I suppose E-Reed's trying it because maybe T-Row is a better basketball player than Terry. Spoiler alert, he's not. It just sucks. Unfortunate, hard-fought game. Few guys went down to injury. Nico had what they would call a reduced septum. Bleeding all over the nose. You hope he's okay. It's unfortunate. Had his best game last game. Now he might miss some time. You also had Tim Hardaway Jr., who went down in a wheelchair. They said he got hit in the face twice. First by Bam. Truthfully, I think he flopped the first time, but it looks like Hardaway did get seriously hurt, so I don't want to harp on that point. But after he did get up from the initial Bam hit, Tyler Herro kind of drove, and it was like Isaiah Stewart or someone that kind of tried to block Tyler and trucked Hardaway in the process, and Hardaway went down pretty hard. Ended up getting taken off by a stretcher, or not a stretcher, but a wheelchair. But yeah, you had that fourth quarter. Tyler Herro, absolutely amazing. I wanted to show the highlights. I wanted to get hyped with y'all, but truthfully, it don't seem right. It don't seem right to get hyped after this loss. What else do we got here as far as the stats? Haywood Highsmith, another nice performance, 9 points. Some pretty great defense on K today. Although K did finish with 21, 7, and 9, he played well. I do like what Highsmith got you out there. Got you a few big rebounds, few steals as well. Kevin Love struggled shooting today, but he played 9 minutes. I'm okay if that's kind of what his stints are at this point. The first, a few minutes of the first quarter, first few minutes of the third quarter, I think he's fine in that role. We talked about Bam and Tyler. Terry, Josh Richardson did get a big decrease in minutes today, something we were kind of calling for. Only got 8 minutes there. Part of that is because Jaime Jaquez was hooping today. 25 minutes for him. Did have 14 points. He was mismatch hunting. I'd like to see that. And then Duncan Robinson had a pretty good performance too, with 14.6 rebounds. I know the efficiency wasn't great. I see now it's 2 of 10 from 3. Truthfully, I didn't realize it was that bad. But he had some pretty nice passes there, especially one lob to Bam late. And Bam actually caught that lob and put it down for the and one, which was nice to see. So Duncan was doing a little bit more out there than shooting, although his overall numbers weren't super efficient. And then Pelle Larsson didn't get too much run either, but Khalil Ware looked fine in his 9 minutes today. Did get you 5 points, including another 3. So I do believe Ware is 2 of 2 from 3 this season, not including the long 2 that he hit last game. His toe was on the line, so kind of 3 for 3 when he's trying to stretch the floor in that aspect here. But yeah, unfortunate win. Poor rebounding late, poor defense late, poor brain mentality late. It sucks. All-time Tyler Herro performance, though. Shout out to him. Make sure to like and subscribe. I'll see you on the next game, which I believe is, I guess we could check here real quick. I know they play the Pistons. It's probably on Friday. Yep, Friday, as you got another stupid in-season tournament game at Indiana on Friday. They actually play Indiana twice, yeah. So that's the first one. But like, subscribe. I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.
Look, pull up in the city trying to get that dead face. Do it on my own, I don't need no dead weight. Had to kill him off, yeah, I need a head space. You know this homegrown bitch don't offend me.